Yo, what is up, everyone? This is episode 31 of the Glimmer cast, and I'm joined by another full panel of awesome gamer folks from the interwebs. To my right or left, whichever direction this is, we got Master System Marceau joining us for the first time for a gaming discussion podcast. How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you. Yourself?
Yes, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much. And we got Mike Maverick in the house, first time on the channel. How are you, good sir?
Yo, what is up? Super Ace Gamer in the house. How you doing?
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And we also got Xander Skullion, friend of the channel. How are you today?
a little Sonic in here, but no, I'm doing good. I felt left out because everyone had hats, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna grab my Atari hat and put it on. So,
oh yeah,
I wanted to fit in, you know.
Hey!
I need to put on my gamer hat. Oh yeah, I do have my Nintendo New York hat from my trip the other week, but I do not have it on right now. I usually just wear my hats when I'm having a bad hair day.
At least you got cat ears, so that counts.
Thank you. Yeah, I got my headgear on, and yes, my co-host, my lovely co-host, Retro Complex Kentantino. Good to see you. I'm sorry you couldn't be with us this week, but we will be. You'll be joining us next time, I'm sure. So thank you so much.
Yeah, my boy Ken. Thank you, man.
I was gonna say Ken just released a video recently about like this GBA JRPG. Oh my gosh!
It's not. It's more of a.
Summon Night. Yes, I recommended him to check out that series. He never played it before. Yeah.
Woo. And now he uploaded a new video, which I was going to explain it at the end, but you know what? I'm going to save it at the end. At the end of the not at the end, but
the Berserker Boy. Review,
Berserk
right?
Boy. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about that later on in the show.
Yeah, during the indie discussion for sure. I'm just going to greet everyone in the chat really quick, and we will be joined a little bit later by Vito. And it'll be my first time chatting with him directly on any type of panel or anything like that. So that'll be really cool. I'm a big fan of his channel and his content. In the chat, we have Mr. Walrus FPGA. Good to see you. Cool to catch one of these live finally. Always seeing them posted on CGD. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, Classic Gaming Discord. Yes, I always share my my stuff over there too because I love hanging out with y'all. And we got Sean in the house. Hello, everyone. Perf minded, let your heart be your guiding key. Definitely. We're going to get into the Kingdom Hearts stuff for sure. Film Elitis. As you always say, Rhea, good vibes. Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorite YouTube emojis for sure. Marceau in the chat saying good evening to everyone. Thank you. And Super Ace Gamer in the chat. And Mattia Jokvik in the house. Let's go. And yeah, Ken, thank you so much. Mike pinpoint me to it. The Berserk Boy review for sure. And Tony from the Geek Getaway. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, hopefully I can get that done tonight. So that review it's probably gonna be a 5-minute review. So yeah.
No, I love it. I love like these quick little not deep dives, but just like impression videos, because there's obviously so many games out there already. You kind of only have to get your impressions out there to get like a gist of like if you're into the game or not. I think we lost Super Ace, but I'm sure he'll be back.
Oh yeah.
K-Dot's in the house. What's up, K-Dot's? Good to see you. I had fun with our Sonic the Hedgehog 2 review, which, Xander, I just saw that you went to go see it, and I'm expecting a full deep dive review from you. On for it, for sure.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to click back and I was trying to register on StreamYard.
Oh, no worries. You're all good. And Marceau, you said that you're working on a review for your channel for Sonic 2 as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I'm gonna spoil you a little bit already. I absolutely loved it.
Me too.
So it's good, but I'm very biased, of course. Even then, I still think it was a really great movie. Video game adaptations are usually pretty terrible, but I think for Sonic 1 and 2 they've done a pretty good job.
And it's crazy to think that Sonic of all series, you know, Sonic's kind of become like an internet meme status at this point, and
so it's like memes.
It's like, wow, this is actually really, really good.
And I'm not gonna get into the rabbit hole anywhere, so let's not go into Sonic rabbit holes here.
No, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about on the agenda so far. And like I said, we will be joined by another guest, Vito, in just a few moments. But we're going to go ahead and start with a little, powwow on the first topic of the day, Chrono Cross. So this is a new remastered game from the PS1, and it's gotten a lot of flack as far as like critical reception to some of the remasters, doings to the original product versus like some of the character dialogue, the graphics, things of that nature. And I do have an article I wanted to pull up, but I did want to get Super Ace Gamer. You actually had a physical copy of the original PS1 game, and I wanted to hear your thoughts in connection to the series while I'm pulling up the article.
Okay, first and foremost, I haven't been playing it yet. I had it since 1999, and I haven't touched it yet, sadly. Oh my god! What? And I say to myself, what the fuck is? Excuse me. What the hell is wrong with me? And okay, and I haven't touched it since because I was busy playing Chrono Trigger. And when I finally beat the game while I was a teenager, well, let's just say I wasn't satisfied because I have used a certain program to beat the game, but a certain Game Shark, which, yeah, I was a teenager. I was a dumb teen back then, but I kind of redeemed myself 20 years later and beat the game legit. So, yeah. And now I want to play Chrono Cross to see how it is. And I was afraid that I'm afraid to make wrong choices. I'm afraid to screw up on the battle systems and all that stuff because that's what I was worried about.
No, definitely. That is a game that I haven't yet broken into just yet either, but it is a very critically heralded series that is on my list to check out. I'm a big fan of PS1 JRPGs, and I just wanted to pull up this quick segment from IGN, and they kind of broke down Digital Foundry's review of the remaster. And some of the key points that they called out were, drops in frame rates compared to the PS1 original, graphics being processed in a way that pretty much put them through an upscaler and not necessarily remastered. In fact, I have some tweets from the interwebs that kind of show shot by shot breakdowns of the quote unquote remaster versus the actual PS1 game. But Marceau, I did want to get your thoughts on the series. Are you a fan of it at all, or were you excited for this?
Yeah, and I'm not a huge RPG guy, but Chrono Cross Trigger are like a cornerstone. They're really games that everybody should be playing. Cult classics. So yeah, I'm pretty disappointed with what's happening right now. And again, I'm not a huge RPG fan, but man, these are really special, And,
definitely. I just wanted to share this other screenshot from Vito, who showed the new mode versus the classic mode, and it's essentially the same game but scaled up through for the remaster. Xander, did you get a chance to check out the remaster, or have you experienced the original at all?
Well, I've played the original, never finished it, but I like Chrono Cross. I feel like it's one of those classic JRPGs for the PlayStation 1 that you have to play, at least experience it. But it's a shame that this remaster kind of fell flat because there's so many quality of life improvements they've done with the remaster, but with every good thing, there's also something really bad too. So it's still not a good definitive way of playing it. And unfortunately, it looks like emulation with some HD texture packs is going to be the way to go for now, sadly.
Yeah. That's exactly what I've been seeing in a lot of these text threads on Twitter is people just, heralding the Mr. FPGA just to be able to fully experience it in all its glory. Sorry, what were you about to say?
Yeah, I'm looking at the text. It was what is wrong of her acting a little more ladylike? It's what's the problem with that? It's oh, can't you be a little nicer to me? It's okay. I was okay, but that text is nothing wrong with that text, unless oh my god, it sounds like a freaking I don't want to say it sounds like outrage culture to me.
Yeah, I definitely want to like read out the how the text sounds, and then y'all could like let me know if like you pick up
Yeah.
on any like social faux pas or anything that probably doesn't hold up in current era. So Chrono
Yeah.
Cross remake text censorship. Could you like
Yeah.
make her a little nicer to me versus could you like break her in a little, you know, make her act like a little more ladylike? Sorry, Xander, what were you about to say?
Yeah, I was about to say, you know, I really wish that, and I understand that, you know, things change and culture changes, but I really wish they would just kind of just leave it alone and just live like they could just leave a disclaimer like you see with some movies now. Like they'll bring out a movie in the 80s and they'll have a disclaimer being like, this was made in a different time, you know, this doesn't reflect, you know, this company currently. Because I feel like, you know, in a world that we live that everyone gets offended with everything, I think a lot of us are lacking context. And the more you block all this stuff out and the mistakes we made in the past, we can never learn from it. So I think it's really important to keep that stuff relevant just so we can kind of see, oh, yeah, now I see why that could be like problematic today, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, like I think that is pretty much what they do with Gone in the Wind, right? They put a little like, you know, a disclaimer before watching it. And I think to your point that that's exactly what they should be doing for the sake of like preserving media for history's sake too. There's, you know, there's a lot of context that is, you know, missed in this change in the character's dialogue, especially like in terms of like characterization and character development and personality and things like that. These are two totally different sentences that do not equal one another. So yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think I see the what's it called, the grammar error on the second one a bit. But you can like you can say like, could you like give her a break a little, you know, that way. I think I see a grammar error on that one.
No, definitely. I
Yeah.
just wanted to check in with the chat really quick. Geek It Away Tony says the battle system in Chrono Cross is very different from Chrono Trigger. Yes, yeah, I definitely agree. Chrono Trigger is more of like an action RPG versus this one, like Chrono Cross. I never played it, but it's more of like a turn-based one, right? Versus action.
It feels like a turn-based like Final Fantasy 8 style gameplay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And let's see. Mr. Walrus FPGA says the artwork alone is worth experiencing the game for, the original, not the remaster. I spent a good chunk of time working with filters in Chrono Cross on Mr. yesterday. The results are light years beyond this remaster. Yeah, exactly. I just shouted you out for like the Mr. FPGA, just, you know, being just beating the remaster's butt.
I want to get one
like,
so bad.
It's a pretty penny.
Oh, it's worth it though. It's so worth it because what's great about a Mister is you got, you know, the newer technology preserving the old technology in the best way possible.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like, you know, it can cost a pretty penny, but in the long run, I mean, you're gonna be saving so much money and just enjoy some good retro games.
So one question.
Oh, sure,
one question to Xander. Does the Mister is like what's it called, Retro Tank? Is it like Retro Tank?
I don't know. I don't have a Mister yet. Yeah, I don't have
because
one.
that's why I keep hearing people say, "Oh, get the Mister" and stuff like that, and then I said to myself, maybe I'm just working on getting a Retro Tank because I have consoles and everything, and you know what? I'm just gonna play it in a better upscale version. Then trust me on this one, guys. Do not get Pound Technologies. Trust me. I love as much as it does me justice and stuff, but every time you play.
Really quick, I'm hearing some background audio. Mike, do you mind muting for a bit to see if that's you? Or Marceau?
Yeah,
I think it's Marceau.
I think it's Marceau.
Oh, okay, perfect, awesome. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, what I was about to say. Oh yeah, the Retro Tank. It's like trust me on this one. Do not get the what's it called, Pound Technologies, because while I was playing Chrono Trigger, someone pointed out to me. I just wanted to give a shout out to Level 1 Online for pointed it out to me on this whole thing. He said something along the line about what's it called? All right, when I load the screen, it just cuts back on. It's like just like that instead of just what's it called, fade away and fade in and out and stuff.
Really quick, but I don't want to cut you off on this really cool emulation topic. We can definitely get into it when we're diving into the indie versus AAA discussion as well. But I do want to jump to this next part for Chrono Cross, where folks who actually downloaded the original game for PS3 and PS Vita are noticing that their download keys are expiring. And when they go and check the game details on their device, they're noticing, the date says set back to December 1969. So there's no way you can even accept access it anymore. So it, to me, this is definitely a great endorsement for emulation. That's definitely what everyone is saying out the gate on this. Yeah. But it also just sucks in terms of digital media ownership, where it's like I was saying in our before we went live, this is a running theme that I talk about Ken and I on this show all the time about, we don't even really truly own the digital media that we're paying full retail for versus the physical copy that costs about the same. Marceau, do you have experience with emulation and or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I emulate all the time. I got many also original devices, but I mostly play with the EverDrives, with Raspberry Pis, emulators of all kinds. And for PlayStation 1 games, with just a simple Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, you can play all of them with pretty much the same quality as the original. I never see any difference. This preservation right now is going downhill. The companies don't care.
Exactly.
And this is why I even made a video about legalizing emulation, because those are old games. They should be public domain. There's no reason why they should still do this. And they clearly also don't care. They give us games like this with 10 frames per second. And it's all... This is not right. It would censorship also. If they're not okay with the game, they should not be releasing it.
And this isn't just one person saying that this happened. These are multiple accounts that were reported.
Yeah, and this is the thing that I think of, video games, in general, technology-wise, is ahead of so many other media platforms. But you don't hear this problem too much with the music or with media videos. You don't really hear that too much. But video games, it's they need to get with the program that we need to preserve some of this stuff. So I am thankful for emulation. I know when the Nintendo eShop was shutting down for the Wii U or the Wii, and everyone was like, "Oh, those games are going to be lost forever." I was like, not necessarily. Thanks to emulation and the Internet Archives, you can actually download, say, Castlevania, Rebirth. You can actually re-download that, so it's not lost, thankfully. But if it wasn't for those people, so much gaming in the past 10 years would be lost already.
And
it's crazy.
And now with all of this is going on, now I'm worried about the TMNT Calabunga collection. Now I'm worried about that.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's gonna have some edits because they did have some product placement in the Ninja Turtles, with Pizza Hut. But to me, that's not a big deal for me. That's not gonna make me that. As long as the game plays well and the frame rate doesn't drop or there's no hiccups, it's Turtles.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm just toggling through some of the chats right now. Friend of the channel, Simon Stevens. I kind of regret buying this on Switch now. Not sure if it's worth having a physical copy if the game is butchered like this. I'm not sure if it was a mistake in translation, by the way. Western culture, even in the 90s, was a bit sensitive. Nowadays, it's like walking on eggshells. But in Japan, culture hasn't changed much in that way. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
True.
Can the digital fail? Yes, exactly.
Yes.
He's expiring in 1970 when the console game wasn't even made yet. Okay, whatever you say, Sony.
Sony's in a multiverse right now.
Multiverse. I thought Sony's in the metaverse.
Oh, good point. Hey, Ruby, good to see you. And let's see. My friends always say it's okay to pirate old games, but new ones it's not okay. Well, that's kind of the ongoing discussion. I think is if in my opinion, and if the game is readily available on your console of choice for you to pay for it outright, then sure, pay. Go ahead and pay quote unquote legitimately for it. So,
Yeah, I think that's just like a common. I think all of us kind of have that understanding that if you can buy it, support it. But if there's no way you can, obtain it, morally, then yeah, you might have to pirate it. But I mean, other than that, if they re-release something like, say, because you see this a lot with arcades and even like the Evercade, for example. The Evercade is making arcade ROMs on a cartridge as physical media, and it's some physical media you can't get in other places. So yes, you can emulate it. But hey, if you want a physical too, you can buy it. And myself, I like physical media, so I would still support it, even though I could emulate it,
Amen.
Well, I know, like, for you, Xander, you got rid of a lot of your collection in favor of digital because, like, to the points that you were making, a lot of the games that you care to play are readily available to play on the console of your choice through emulation or even modern consoles as well.
Yep, it's amazing. I mean, I've condensed so much down, and I mean, I always will love physical media and all the caveats that go with it as well. But it is what it is,
I'll go ahead and read Shifty's comment really quick. The original theme song that was used in the opening of the TMNT arcade game will be replaced on the Cowabunga collection with a well-done cover, which you can hear on the 1UP arcade release. Interesting.
Oh, okay. I love that song, by the way. That was on the TMNT Coming Out of Our Shells World Tour that they had on the cassette tape and VHS. I had a cassette tape of it, but the album is called Coming Out of Our Shells.
And also,
the TMNT trivia right there.
Also, one question: they're gonna still have Piece of Power on there?
Yeah, they're just covering that. That's what the cover is going to be.
Cool.
Because they can't use the old 80s or 90s theme songs. That's definitely, they don't own that probably.
And PSA for Mr. Walrus, they make a really good point. Support good developers. If you want to continue to see decent releases, it's the only way. Certainly with indie games, which that is actually a really good segue to the next topic for AAA titles versus indie titles. I just want to make sure I get everyone's comments really quick before we transition. Even now, a Wii is a great device to have once you fire Homebrew up on it. Such a great line of old games on Virtual Console. Exactly. And Brian, good to see you as well. Sean says, Evercade is not my cup of tea. It doesn't interest me, but I'm happy for people that love Evercade. So definitely, that's a good point. Jumping into the discussion for AAA titles versus indie games. Super Ace Gamer, I know this is a topic that's near and dear to your heart. I just want to get a grasp as far as like what inspired you to come up with this discussion.
Okay, 4 games, right? One is the upcoming Godshard Chronicles, which I'm following. It looks good. I love the artwork and the person who's working on it. I love the idea of trying to make it more like an action RPG. He also has a book, so I highly suggest check out Godshard Chronicles. And two, there's another game called Decline's Drop. If you heard about that game, this one it's more like Yoshi's Island style artwork, but with a side-scrolling beat-em-up like Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure game. If anyone tried that game out, that's pretty amazing. Third is Shrine's Legacy. It's like what's it called? It's more like a love letter to Secret of Mana. And I forgot the 5th one.
Are you talking? I know Sea of Stars is another game that from a couple years ago that was on Kickstarter. Super inspired by the Mana series as well. It's an action-based JRPG, and I think it's finally coming out this year. I backed it on Kickstarter, so I'm actually really, really juiced for that one. I am going to go and share a tweet really quick, just to give y'all an idea of like some of the conversation that's happening around indie titles versus AAA titles. Friend of the channel, Devin, shared out this really insightful tweet, in my opinion. It would look 1,000 times better as evidenced here. He's referencing Elden Ring, and I'd probably actually play it more since its 2D nature would lend itself to more linear gameplay, which would be an improvement since the game has no story or direction. Well, clearly he's not a fan of Elden Ring. If you follow him on Twitter, you would know that. But like, as far as like what he's referencing here in this artistic portrayal of Elden Ring as a 2D platform or a 2D action game, I think he does make a good point as far as like the game having more legs and potentially more appeal to more quote unquote legacy gamers or more like old school gamers. who don't necessarily align so much to current gen, this would definitely be kind of like a nice little stepping stone to get them interested in the series if there was such a version like this. Oh, Xander, what were you about to say?
I was about to say, I really agree with him, and like the more I get to know him, the more I'm like, man, he's like a wine tasting connoisseur of retro goodness. Like the
He's
more
awesome. He's the best.
The more he talks about stuff, like when he was talking about Sega Saturn, I'm like, oh, So I really admire his comment on this, because he hits the nail on the head. I think it would be a lot more approachable, and not to mention like really beautiful. And I think a lot of the newer games, sometimes I think, even now to this day and age, I think it does kind of overwhelm some people. They sit and they're like, oh, I can't play a game like that,
Mm-hmm. How about you, Marceau? I want to get your thoughts on indie games, because I just know you as a Sega gamer, but I don't know like what your alignment is to like more modern games or modern indie games or anything like that.
No, I have a preference for indie games, especially these days, because modern gaming, I think it's what gives me zits. Sometimes I like good AAA games, but these days it's getting really the industry is getting downhill at an alarming rate. It's just microtransactions, NFTs, and more and more always online things. Like Gran Turismo 7 is a great example. And I'm definitely more and more aiming towards indie games these days. So that's what I try on Steam or on Switch or on Xbox. When I see a good indie game, I usually buy them, and I don't wait for a sale like I do with AAA games, because those developers don't have that much help. So indie games are usually not that expensive. So no, definitely 1000% in favor of indie games compared to AAA games.
And I just want to shout out, like, I'm not dissing Elden Ring. I just wanted to show friend of the channel's, unique take on indie presentation versus modern gen. I know it doesn't represent everyone's. There's lots of retro gamers here who also appreciate modern gen too. To Mr. Walrus's point, Elden Ring is good in its current format. Plenty of Souls wannabe 2D platformers already. Absolutely, I do agree with that. And friend of the channel, Retro Bro, good to see you. And
hey, Retro Bro, I hope you're feeling all right, man.
Definitely, sending you best wishes for sure. If anyone wants a 2D Souls game, just play Salt and Sanctuary. That sounds familiar. Sandra, have you played this one?
I have. It's an older title, and it's pretty good. It's 2D Dark Souls, and I will say this as well. If you like Bloodborne, there is a fan-made PS1 degrade of Bloodborne that's a lot of fun, and now they're going to turn it into Bloodborne Kart, which
Xander?
Yeah.
Xander?
Yeah.
I'm going to say this right now. One word. Infernax.
Oh,
what
yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. Well, it's that one like Castlevania indie game. Like I'm always talking about the Infernax.
Yeah. Infernax.
It's good.
Dude, if you're like Castlevania, search. Let me give you a search for the game as well.
I can share the tab while y'all are giving me the lowdown on what this is.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's like Castlevania, but you can make choices if you want to become good or evil of your decision.
It does look like a Castlevania game. Oh my god, yeah.
And it's got that indie polish like a game like Shovel Knight. Isn't it weird that all of us, we love indie games, but there's a certain caliber that you kind of still grade indie games in that sense. Like there's those mobile flashy indie games. You're like, it's kind of blah. But then you get like the more polished ones like Infernax, and you're like, oh yeah, it's more like Shovel Knight. Like Shovel Knight's become like that caliber of like grading indies, like a step ladder. It's so weird.
And those types of indies I like. For example, Fallen Leaf, which if you click on Fallen Leaf, and also
Fallen Leaf.
Then you got this right here, freaking Berserk Boy. Woo!
Yes, I'm just playing some of the clips right now that they have on their Twitter. Thank you for linking it to me, by the way. And this looks amazing, like very much like what I was hoping Mighty Number 9 would have been when it came out. Yes! Yeah. Marceau, are you a fan of Mega Man?
Yes, I do like Mega Man. Yes, of course.
Is this does this strike your fancy at all? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah,
for sure.
it looks really good. Like
Yeah.
I was one of the backers of Mighty Number 9, and that was the first thing I thought when I saw this. I'm like, this is what it could have been, but hey, at least we got something, right?
And now, okay, huge shout out to the creator of Berserk Boy, because I've been talking to him regularly. Yeah, and he's a pretty chill guy. He's a pretty cool dude. And I will say this right now, and to everyone like Xander and everyone else who feel disappointed on Mighty Number 9, this will fill your void right there. Will fill your freaking void. Berserk Boy is beautiful. It's like, it's a chef's kiss of what it is.
I did want to share Fallen Leaf as well, which thank you again for sharing this with me too. This is another Mega Man inspired platformer too. Very, very cute. Very much like, I'm getting big Mega Man vibes for sure.
It's like Mega Man mixed with Kirby, Shovel Knight, and all the others rolling into one.
Yeah, that looks like my cup of tea right there. It it kind of makes me think of? It makes me think of Do Re Mi Fantasy on the Super Famicom.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
That's a really good game. I might have to do a live stream of that because that was a Super Famicom exclusive, and it's a really adorable platformer. It's very Kirby, whimsical, woody forest stuff. It's cool.
Like for me, I've been playing or trying to explore more of like the Wonder Boy series.
Yes.
Especially since there's this huge collection that's coming out of a lot of like the legacy titles, and I really liked Asha's her sort of like spin-off adventures from that series too. That's kind of like my first foray into the series. Marceau, are you currently playing any like retro inspired indie games, or have you played any recently?
Yeah, I just finished the one from the Amico. What's his name? Fox and Forest.
Oh right, you were live streaming that. How was it?
Oh yeah.
Was very average. And I can't even imagine what it's gonna be like if it was to come out on the Amico. Yeah, but I mean, for $10, it was fine. It was a game that was kickstarted as well. I mean, it's worth $10, I will say, but it's not something that I can recommend. Like, it's an awesome game, but it's a good Metroidvania. It will kill your weekends,
And the other twos I showed you is what's it called? The other two I showed you is God Shard, and if you look at that other one underneath there, that's Decline's Drop.
Okay, let me go ahead and look for some game footage of that. Hopefully they have it clipped with the trailer. Oh, go ahead. I'll
say this, not to derail the chat. I don't want to derail anything, but Mike, you're gonna have to calm down when I mention this. But Rhea, if you love the Wonder Boy series, there's a series you also need to play on the Sega CD. And that's Potful Mail.
Potful Mail.
Yeah. I knew. I was like.
Explain yourself. What is this?
Potful Mail is very much like the Wonder Boy series. It's like an action, hack and slash RPG on the Sega CD, and it's really good. From working designs, it's just classic goodness.
And here's the reason why Xander told me to calm down. Is because here's the reason why he told me to calm down. It's because one thing for sure. Oh, that's not the gameplay, by the way. It's just
this is a different game. My bad.
It's just a common. Yeah, that's what's it called? What's it called? It's okay. Just look at the screenshots and stuff. That's it.
This is it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and like I said, the reason why Xander told me to calm down is because of one thing. I'm a simp for Potful Mail.
He's one of the biggest Potful Mail fans I know.
Potful. I'm looking for it right now. How do you spell it?
P-O-P. Let me get it.
P-O-P?
There it goes.
P-O-P.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, cool. I want to share this tab really quick just so I can see what all this simping noise is about. No, yeah, she looks great. Yeah, this is a Sega CD game, you said?
Yeah, and it's got like little anime cutscenes and stuff, which is really cool.
And people tell me, Mike Maverick, you're a Potful Mail simp. That's the reason why I love this game.
Oh, I can see why you would tell me to check this out because I'm like digging Asha right now. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think you would really like that game.
Like games like this and like Shantae, like that's my jam.
Oh yeah,
Shantae is really good.
Yeah, Shantae's cool.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, this game is super cute. Yeah.
And the reason why I created that's the reason why I want to create the what's it called? I want to create a video game that's based upon either Potful Mail and Shantae. which my OC is Carrie Kickmore, and I really want to make a video game out of it one day.
No, that would be amazing. These games are growing in popularity again, especially like with folks like me. I just have that nostalgia and the appeal of like a simple yet, like not too challenging, but interesting enough to keep me going, like as far as like invested in the gameplay, and I can like not feel overwhelmed. Like experiences like this, and even with like Kirby, for example, like to tie it back into AAA games, Kirby would be considered a AAA game for Nintendo, but it's not so much like, it's definitely not an Elden Ring style AAA game, but it's still giving people that emotional gratification of like, and like a satisfying story and gameplay that is not just like overwhelmingly difficult and rip your hair out, like frustrating, And
that's the only AAA games I really like is the Kirby series, the Metroid series, sometimes Pokemon. And if I want to get to some stuff like Monster Hunter, I will definitely go to play that game as well.
I think what it is that we really like when in regards to AAA with Nintendo, and I think what makes AAA Nintendo games that special is it almost feels like as if you had an indie director with a high budget.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's what it feels like, because I mean they always, yes, there's some bad Nintendo games, but most of them always feel kind of fresh, like they're trying to do something a little different. And I think that's the reason why when people talk about Nintendo, they always talk about the first party exclusives,
Yeah, especially the upcoming Bayonetta 3 coming out.
Oh yeah, that we get to see any new developments from since a few Nintendo Directs ago, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I am working on loading the collectorvision.com link that you sent me, Marceau, for Sydney Hunter and the Curse of the Mayans, you said?
Oh yeah, that's a great game.
I reviewed that years ago, and I loved it.
Sydney Hunter.
Yeah, it's not new, but I started it and it's pretty nice. I really like it.
I'll go ahead and share a tab for it just so we can see like so the audience can see what the graphics are looking like.
I think I 100% the whole entire game on the first try.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this. This was it was released on physical cartridge, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like not just Switch, but like NES or something, right?
Yeah. It's been created by our YouTuber go by name of Gamester81.
Yeah.
I definitely heard of this one.
Yeah. He also did the Master System version. I'm trying to get a hold of it, but can't find it. They're going to re-release the Master System cartridge. Mm-hmm. But this one is really nice. The music is nice. It really feels like an end 80s, early 90s game. The kind of game that you had also a lot in the Commodore 64. I like this genre.
Yeah, I definitely remember hearing about this one. I'm going to go ahead and check in with the chat really quick. They brought up some good ones. Freedom Planet, that's one on my list I need to pick up physically for sure. Yeah, Sonic inspired.
Yeah, it's because Freedom Planet 2 is coming out.
Oh, yeah, like I definitely need to pick it up then. I hope, if I see that they announced maybe a dual pack, that would be really cool. But
that would be sweet.
Yeah, that would make sense too.
Oh, and one more, I was going to say right now to the creator of Berserk Boy, I'm going to say this right now. If you're listening to this, how about a Berserk Boy anime? I know I'm getting my expectations high.
Oh man, you got pie in the sky dreams right there.
I know I get my expectations high, but Berserk Boy anime.
I'm going to go ahead and shoot the chat really quick while we're transitioning to the next topic. Simon Stevens says, Ruby, love how you can pogo in that game along with the Valkyrie profile style combat. Oh, you're referencing Freedom Planet. Yeah, definitely. I would love more games to have that same aesthetic and...
We're still here.
Oh no.
All right. Well, we can continue the discussion.
Oh, sorry. I had a glitch in the matrix. My bad. Let's see. Where am I in the chat?
Got the Glimmer cast patch.
A shout out to the Dragon Quest series. Yes, absolutely. We're gonna get into some of these Square Enix leaks for sure from the GeForce. Let's see. Nvidia GeForce stuff. Simon Stevens says it's really hard to classify Nintendo games as AAA. Take a close look at the textures in Fire Emblem Three Houses. They're selling Square apples. I mean, yeah, that's true. Like it would probably be like a AA game compared to like a Sony or Microsoft title. But yeah, I just brought up Kirby because that's pretty much what Nintendo would qualify or classify as a AAA game for their standards.
I'm sure they put more effort into Kirby than most developers these days into their games with higher graphics, and it's just what it has.
I personally did enjoy it just for like some of the reasons I mentioned. Like, I actually am enjoying gaming again, playing Kirby.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's that. Mr. Walrus FPGA says Nintendo has proven for decades now that AAA doesn't require cutting edge technology in the console. Absolutely. And let's see. Yeah, I think I am caught up for the most part. Oh wait, what's up, Killy? Okay, cool. Yeah, thank y'all for sharing those awesome indie titles and some of your connections to them versus like AAA titles. And like I said, we're not like bashing AAA titles at all. A lot of us are consumers for Microsoft and Sony as well. So
even Elden Ring, we love Elden Ring, guys. Okay, just saying, don't come after us, okay?
Walrus makes a good point. Plus, Nintendo actually published finished games still. How freaking rare is that? Games you can play without needing like a huge download or patch day one or anything like that. That's very refreshing.
That was a crazy thing when I got Kirby. Is like I put it in and it just booted up. Like I was expecting to be like, oh, I need to install it, or no, I need to put up an update. But it was kind of strange and surreal to start a game and just let it boot up like that.
Yeah.
Oh, and Ruby, I have played Indivisible. That was an Indiegogo game that I backed, and I really enjoyed it. I'm for side-scrolling action RPGs. They are a little not my preference as far as like how I'd like to play RPGs in general. I like the top-down look, if not like third person. That's my personal preference. Yeah. I don't know if y'all have like any preference between side-scrolling versus third person, or if it doesn't matter for y'all.
Now, I wish Indivisible will have a new IP or something like that, because I don't want to see this game go to waste, because sadly it's not gonna have any updates whatsoever due to I'm not gonna go through that can of worms.
It's probably a funding issue too. Like they're the same studio behind Skullgirls, and Skullgirls is admittedly a way bigger IP than Indivisible was. So I can see them kind of pivoting focus to that instead. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, at least Skullgirls has something. At least they got like what's it called? At least they got like a new company right now, due to the fact that just to keep the game alive, which is good.
What's up? Just greeting everyone who popped in on the chat. Aries the show, good to see you, friend of the channel. Kupi Malik says that side-scrolling feel just like the first time I played Ninja Gaiden 2 on the SNES, I think. Yeah, no, that is good for like platformers, definitely. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Ninja Gaiden, the game is coming out around April 22nd. It's called Bot Gaiden.
Oh.
Yeah,
is that related to the Ninja Gaiden series?
No, Bot Gaiden is like a indie version of Ninja Gaiden. And it's a lot of fun.
For sure.
Let me type. Bot Gaiden.
Let me check in really quick. Simon Stevens says, I'm glad I'm 3 hours into Kirby, and unlike Star Allies, there's still so much left to enjoy. For a time, Nintendo was selling base game first, free content later. Glad they moved away from that. Definitely. Mr. Walrus says, really quick. Vito, how are you?
Yo, Vito.
Hello.
Good to see you. Welcome to the channel.
Yeah.
I can have a camera. There I am.
Yo, Vito. Hey, it's first time meeting you, bro.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry I'm late. It's like one of those weird days where all of a sudden the sleepies overtake you.
It's all good. We were actually referencing some of your tweets for Chrono Cross. I really want to get your take on some of the news. I know you probably shared a lot of it on social media already, but I just want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah. Well, Square always does this though. Like every time Squaresoft says we have a remaster coming out, I'm like, all right, well, what are they going to screw up this time? And it was clear that they were going to do. I mean, when they did, I remember when they first remastered Final Fantasy X. It's always very lazy. Like they update the models for the main characters, but all the old characters still look, pixelated and crappy. And then the backgrounds, they just run them through an AI upscaler without like having somebody actually sit down and like manually fix all the little problems. So
Yeah,
there's just so many things that are wrong. It's just like, I don't know, why even bother?
Oh my God, there's two prime examples that Square have been doing that crap. One is when the release of Chrono Trigger on Steam, we just got a half-assed mobile version of the game.
Right.
That is until Square caved in, listening to us, yelling at them to fix the damn problem they did.
Sorry, my internet froze a little bit. Yeah, it might have stalled out the stream a bit.
And the second thing that really bugs me, because remember we were about to have like the Secret of Mana quote unquote remake.
Yeah.
It turns out to become a remastered instead of a remake. So I feel like I've been lied to by Square Enix.
Square is not what it used to be, and neither is Konami, neither are a lot of them.
Yeah, the Mana collection was very lackluster on the Switch, and I'm glad I only paid $20 for it though. For 3 games, I can't really complain too much. They didn't do too much to the original games, but for the remaster, it just, felt a little phoned in for sure. Pretty much like what this is.
At least Trials of Mana, it feels like a remaster than what it is, what it was and stuff. And I know here's the thing. Trials of Mana is lackluster. It feels like lackluster at best, but at least the game mechanics looks a lot better.
Yeah, at least that's a legit remaster.
Yeah, I mean, like with Square, like I was saying earlier in the show, it's like everything good that Square does to a remaster, you're like, what are they going to do that's bad? It's like every release, they're like, yeah, we're going to have all these like quality of life improvements, but hey, we're going to also do this as well. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's, if there's quality of life improvements, that's great or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when they like start making weird decisions and like changing the translation, whatever. You're like, you guys should be doing the bare amount of changes to the original, and it should just be like quality of life improvements. Now I picked up their like Saga Frontier remaster, and that was great because that game is like notoriously nonsense. That game, have you ever played Saga Frontier?
I haven't.
The problem with that game is that you can literally go anywhere at any time, which makes it impossibly confusing. You're like, I don't know which of the 20 towns I'm supposed to go to, which of the 300 NPCs to talk to advance this particular plot. So they added like an actual quest line, like prompt where it's like, you should go to the beach and try to talk to somebody there. And you're like, oh, thank God, this game is now playable. Like, that was fun maybe back in the PS1 era where you're like, I got nothing to do. Let's spend all day, interacting with every NPC, hoping to God one of them triggers the next way to go. And then they added like a little quest guide. But they also made it optional in that port. And they said, well, you don't have to, if you really don't want that quest guide there, you can just play the original release. But it seems here with Chrono Cross, they're like, well, let's, not only change some of the translations, but she's not like, I would like them to update the backgrounds in the cinemas. It seems like the cinemas, they didn't even upscale those, the animated cutscenes in the middle of the game, that they just kind of left them at the original resolution. It just seems like random what they chose to update and whatnot.
One of the Mr. developers is in the chat with us, and they're actually working on a Chrono Cross port for the Mr. And it's coming along pretty much leagues ahead, as you would expect for what Mr. is able to put out. I don't know if you're like following that console or like that the production.
I'm aware
for
of
that.
the Mr. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff. I'm in a Discord for it, and I'm glad one of the developers is here chiming in on it. They are actually here. It really irks me when they change the art style of the characters, like the way they made the Final Fantasy VIII remaster more anime style. That's a good point. I guess like some of the issue too was like Final Fantasy VIII, like some of the code was lost, right? Or like the base of the game. So they kind of had to build from scratch, no?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know they had issues like that with like Konami with the Silent Hill collection. Like that's a horrible port like that, because they lost so much and they were trying to like rehire voice actors and all. I mean, it was a mess. I mean, it's typical Konami. But and it sucks because Square does these sort of remasters and they could do a really good job. I mean, a great job would be the Sega Ages port of Phantasy Star. Like that's a great that's a good port, kind of a remaster, but it adds all the quality of life improvements and doesn't really touch the game, just makes it better. And unfortunately, Square doesn't do that. I don't understand it.
But you'll see the good remasters and the good ports usually are made by Sega or M2, their divisions for all these collections. Like Konami, you think like their Contra and Castlevania collections are made by them. No, they're made by Sega, by their M2 division. And Sega Ages, same thing, made by M2, and they do an incredible job. This is one of the companies that you still have out there that does an amazing job like that. It's very rare these days.
Really quick, I wanted to read Tony TGD's comment. Thank you so much for donating to the channel. Just tipped $5.50. Looks like I lose the bet, and Vito showed up this time. JK, y'all good people. Great stream. Thank you so much, Tony. I appreciate it. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, as far as like the digital keys expiring for Chrono Cross, Vito, do you personally have any insight into, like, it seems like a common practice from what I was able to glean from tweets from people who said, oh, not only this game, but other games I've downloaded too, like God of War, like on my PS Vita and PS3 have also expired and like are dated back to like 1969 and stuff like that. Like, have you personally experienced that or seen that happen before?
It sounds like it's some sort of, it must be like a bug. I don't think they're doing it on purpose. But yeah, people are losing access to some of their PS Vita downloads and stuff because it's just saying that the license is out of date, that the license expired in 1969, which obviously makes no sense for a PlayStation Vita game or a digital download. At first, it was worried, people were worried, like, are they blocking access so that you can't buy the PS1 Classic version of Chrono Cross? But I think you still can buy. Can you still buy the PS1 Classic Chrono Cross for like $10 or something?
Yeah, I believe you can still buy it. I wonder if this is all like tied into their like PlayStation Plus stuff. It sounds like they're messing up some stuff. Sounds kind of sketchy.
Yeah, well, they announced that new PlayStation Plus tier, which is going to give you access. I don't know. I'm real upset with Sony. I don't know why they can't just add backwards compatibility to the PS5. It seems like allowing me to put a PS1 disc into a PS5 and run it.
We kind of talked about that a couple weeks ago, where I think the PS5 hardware, the current generation of this system anyway, it doesn't have a CD reader. Like
it can't read CDs. It can only read like DVDs,
like Blu-rays and up. I think.
If I put a music CD in a PS5, does it just get real confused?
Probably like eats your CD or something, scratches it or something. I don't know, or spits it out.
I would be confused if a Sony product can't read CDs, but maybe it can.
Marceau, have you tested this?
No, but I don't think it has a CD lens. I think it's just a Blu-ray lens to cut the cost, which is
because even the PS4, you can't play music CDs on a PS4.
Yeah. I think the Xbox One had still a CD lens, and you had the audio CD player you could download, but probably not the Series X. I didn't check, but nobody cares anymore. But it's really sad because it costs like a few bucks to put it in there. So, and we could play all of our old games, but
yeah,
they just don't care. And this is why I'm for the emulation, for the FPGA, Mister, for the Raspberry Pi, because these companies do not care.
No, they don't. And I do hope that we get good emulation for. I mean, I like using the original media. It sucks when I can't use my discs or I have to use some crazy method to try and get them running on a TV or whatever else. But however you can play them. I think honestly, and it seems like the community's emulation efforts, I would actually trust the community at this point to make a better, upgraded version of Chrono Cross than I do, the company themselves.
At this point. Oh, and I did want to apologize to Walrus. I accidentally mentioned that you're a dev. You're just a longtime community member. Thank you, though, for participating in the chat and giving us a heads up on the developments for Chrono Cross for the Mister as well. Really good stuff there. Let's see. Kupi Malik, Samurai Shodown on the Neo Geo CD and PS1 Japan only. Oh, that's another RPG that I haven't experienced yet. Let's see. Walrus says, shady devs are always doing this shit nowadays. Lowest possible effort remasters and pull the actual good version so the new one doesn't compete against it. Recent GTAs tried that shit too. Oh, okay. So like making the older versions of like the PS2 games unavailable in favor of the remasters, which are another example of remasters kind of being phoned in and worse looking than the originals. Yeah.
Yeah, Rockstar pulled the original versions of the GTAs, and then they had to put them back up when the remasters were just terrible.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I was about to say, hopefully if we get like the Legend of Dragoon remastered, which I'm going to show you guys here, hopefully we get, and big if that we get this game remastered. Please, Sony, I beg of you. I know that your tiers suck, okay? Please. I'm just saying. And I'm going to say this right now. Hopefully they're not going to fuck it up. Because this is Sony. They're going to
Did they say
they will find a way.
Did they say they're doing something with Legend of Dragoon?
No, I just wish. I'm just hoping.
I mean, after I saw what they did with the PlayStation Mini, I don't even think Sony knows anything about their history or their best games or whatever else.
That was
Sony
terrible.
just seems like such a confused. I remember thinking like, oh, the PlayStation Classic. Oh, I can already name what games will be on there. It's so obvious. It'll obviously have Silent Hill and Symphony of the Night, and then it came out and none of the classics were on there. It had like Rainbow Six, which sucked.
Oh, the PlayStation Classic, yes.
Yeah, it had like
played the PlayStation version of
it had horrible emulation too. The emulation was horrible because they were using the PAL hertz, so it was like just super slow.
Now, every time Sony does this shit, I feel like what's his name, Stanley from The Office. I'll be like, you must be out of your pea-sized
your face is just like very stoic. I did want to share this really quick from Marceau. Thank you for sharing this. So this is a community effort, right? For Sonic Sega Master System ports.
Yeah, exactly. The game I was playing earlier today on my stream. So you can see here, it's just one guy, and you can play this on your phone, on your PC, pretty much wherever you want. And with all these characters now, all also the levels from the Genesis. It's absolutely mind-blowing. I will play this on stream also soon.
It is released on my birthday. Yes.
But you just see how just individuals can do better job than companies, and because some people do care. And Sega knows that too, because if you think about Sonic Mania, there was also Christian Whitehead that did that. He was doing that on his as his own, and they hired him.
For Sonic Mania,
and of course the music done by T. Lopes.
T. Lopes,
T. Lopes, who is also, by the way, doing music for Berserk Boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a big selling point for sure. I love the Sonic Mania soundtrack.
It's like you got like companies out there. Sony won't remaster. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Sony.
Maybe it's for the best. Maybe it's for the best.
They're so behind. Yeah.
Maybe it's for the best. They should not remaster.
Jim Ryan, we were criticizing him the other week, reading a quote saying like, we really have no reason or interest to make backwards compatibility on the PS5,
bad.
even though we probably can. We're just choosing not to.
Jim Ryan is a snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Yeah.
PS Classic was worth it at $20. Yes, I picked up a couple at $20. Like
Me
two
too.
controllers. Yeah,
I know. I should have bought more. I bought 2 of them when they hit $20, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I should have just bought
3 of them.
And of course, you got artists out there who make like awesome work of box art too. Like for example, the guy who did Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, also on board on Berserk Boy.
Yeah, like to your point, that's like these indie devs just making far better products than the company can themselves, and then
exactly
someone in the company with like some functioning brain cells is just like, why don't we hire this guy? Like so.
Yeah.
Okay. And also you got some people making fan games, good fan games. The games and of course the game that I was waited for since 2010, I guess, was Mega Man X Corrupted.
And that was a fan game?
Yeah. Huh?
Oh, I'm asking, that was a fan game you said?
Yeah, it was a fan game. It's still under development to this day. I see some improvements. I can't wait to play it once it comes out.
Yeah.
And really quick, I wanted to transition really to the PS4 upgrade port availability for PS5 games. That's pretty much the transition point that we're going to jump into. So basically, we're 2 years into the lifespan of the PS5. We're still seeing backwards compatibility, if not like last gen ports of current gen games. Like case in point with like Cyberpunk being available on PS4 and being just very shoddily able to run, if at all, like for a lot of players. So I wanted to get y'all's take. Is this detrimental to game quality if we keep focusing on making games available for last gen just because of the circumstances of the pandemic? Or do you think we're at a point where we need to forcibly push everyone to upgrade and no longer offer last gen ports? I definitely want to get Vito's take on that.
Who's forcing who to upgrade?
No, I'm saying like, do you think that it's time to just, have like the companies like Sony and Microsoft push folks to just upgrade to next gen and stop offering last gen ports? Or are we still in a position as consumers where we still need those last gen ports because of lack of resources?
I think these companies are going to keep making money regardless. I think they just are missing out on a segment of the consumer base that cares about backwards compatibility. And I think they underestimate how many people do care about being able to play their games. Like it's kind of bizarre to me, it's not like other forms of media like VHS. You can just upgrade to DVD and it makes sense. And it's almost obvious why you would want to watch a DVD over a VHS. But I don't want to buy an updated remaster of every game, or I don't want to play it on cloud. Like, I kind of want to play it in its original format. And it's bizarre that these companies seem to think, well, those games look like crap and there's no reason to provide backwards compatibility. It's sad, but I don't think that Sony cares enough about this market segment. And I don't think there's any way to convince them otherwise. I don't know.
Xander, how about you? You look like you have some strong opinions on that.
Yeah, I do, because, if it was any other sort of console launch, I would say, 2 years. I think after 2 years, I think the life cycle of the previous technology should be just kind of cut out, because it's time to upgrade after 2 years. But this is a different situation because the PlayStation 5 is still hard to find with the pandemic and chip shortage. So I can see that, and I want them to definitely. I think what would be great is if they focus on the backwards capability of the PS4 to PS5. That way, they can really take their time, and it kind of congratulates people who have a PlayStation 5. They can still play the more enhanced version, but at the same time, PS4 is what you can get at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good way of doing it. And if anything, even if it means they have to slow down their AAA development and actually take their time, please take your time, because let me tell you, like, a couple of weeks ago, everyone was flipping out about Breath of the Wild 2 being delayed. Who cares about it now? Absolutely no one. We've moved on to something else. So don't, take too much of the internet outrage as face value, because it's just, it fizzles out really, really quick. And we really want a good game, because, we don't want another Cyberpunk or Fallout 70, whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah, 76, whatever.
Yeah, how about you, Marceau? Are you like in favor of the longer lifespan of the previous gen, or do you feel like we should be pushing more for current gen in order to get higher quality games?
Yeah, I might have a controversial opinion, because I think we should still do cross-gen games right now, because I'm a good example for it. I still have an Xbox One X and a PS4 Pro. I'm not going to refresh a website 100 times to try and buy one. I'm not going to try to go at a scalper or anything like that. So as long as they're not available in stores, I think they should still do it. And I don't think that's an excuse for poor quality, though. I think they can do it if they want to. Like Halo Infinite works fine on both consoles. Okay, maybe it doesn't look like the greatest, but me, I don't care about the graphics personally. And I don't see that difference they promised us, like from 2D to 3D at some. They said the leap would be at some point. I don't see it. I watched so much footage of new gen games, and I don't see really the difference. Maybe we will see in the new Hellblade or some other games. Like I play Horizon Forbidden West right now on PS4 Pro. It's fine. I mean, it's the graphics doesn't make the game for me.
We haven't Yeah, we haven't reached that plateau where the new hardware really sticks out yet. I mean, there's some games that I've seen, like there was like this motorcycle game I saw that was on the PlayStation 5, and it had the ray tracing, and it looked really, I was like, wow, this is realistic. It looked like someone on a GoPro. But I mean, other than that, I mean, there's really not that much of a difference as of now with the consoles comparison.
Now, I'm going to say this right now. When it comes to like waiting for other games to come in, it's like, I mean, take Kingdom Hearts 3, for example. We've been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 since the PS3 era. And then we went from that, and now when the PS4 came out, we finally got Kingdom Hearts 3. We've been teased and teased and teased. I know it's a running meme saying that. I know back then they doing these memes saying that how long we wait for Kingdom Hearts 3. As it's like it's the early version of Veer Mahan from WWE to show up.
Do you think that they're this is actually like kind of like a mid-step to the next topic for the Square Enix announcements, but do you feel like Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced because it's enough of the mixed to poor reception of Kingdom Hearts 3 has died down enough for us to, have like a clear slate almost for Kingdom Hearts 4 to have that goodwill again? Or do you feel like that's unrelated?
No, here's a question. How long is going to take for them to develop Kingdom Hearts?
We don't have a release date. Vito, did you get a chance to watch the trailer?
I did. I thought the trailer almost looked unfinished. I was like, this doesn't even look like you guys have anything ready to go. Is this you're just announcing it for the hell of it? I mean, but they've done that before. I mean, the Square games always get announced, and then there's like huge waiting times between when they announce it and you actually get it. So it's almost like pointless to show it to me. I'm like, all right, when's that going to come out? Like 10 years from now?
I gotta say it right now. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba, Square Enix.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, I'll say this. I'll say this. If it takes them a while to release it, that's fine as long as it's not fucked up. That's really the big picture of it. I mean,
all Kingdom Hearts games are fucked up.
That's true. That's true. but like as long as they take their time, I mean, I know, like I said, people get upset a couple of weeks later because we have so many games coming out that like it's the new flavor of the week. Like everyone's like, oh no, Breath of the Wild 2 is being delayed, but boom, some new game comes out and they're like, oh, new shiny thing.
Yeah, no, like to Xander's point, there is definitely like this lather, rinse, repeat sort of like consumer mindset with like game news. And obviously like this is something that continues the conversation for a lot of us, especially for like this show. I love talking about gaming news, but it always sort of comes back to, well, why can't they do this? And like, I wish they would remaster this game that I have very fond memories of. It always feels like as like high anticipation as like something like this game, like Kingdom Hearts 4. It's like definitely showing me next gen graphics, getting me a little bit pumped. People pointed out that Sora is no longer wearing like comically huge shoes as well. So maybe this is like a sign of like the series growing up and becoming more mature. I don't know about that, but yeah, like it's just something that because of the lack of a release date and it just being sort of like a flash in the pan, look, new shiny thing to be excited about. It's kind of hard for me to, be as invested in it as I would have been like if I had grown up playing Kingdom Hearts like on the PS2, like for like Mike's point.
Yeah, it makes me think of like the Final Fantasy VII tech trailer we saw years ago. I believe it was like during the PS3 era of Final Fantasy VII. They were like, they kind of hinted a remake, but it's like, oh, this isn't really a remake. So I mean, since then I've never got my hopes up. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna just let it be for now, until I hear more dates and coverage on it.
Now,
yeah, to Vito's point, I'm starting to notice like, some shadows are missing. They look like, composited graphics and animation renders.
Looks like there's like parts that look untextured and stuff. I'm like,
exactly.
Like finished.
Now, I'm going to say this right now. Now, if we're waiting for Kingdom Hearts 4, so in other words, we're going to have like Kingdom Hearts 3.2, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7 half, and 3/4, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And plus, like my only way of like playing these games right now, like if I wanted to play on Switch, is through cloud gaming, which from our last conversation a couple weeks ago, I'm not a fan. And obviously my internet is not the greatest. So I'm kind of like asked out on that. If I did want to play it though, I do have like the PS3 versions, and I guess like if I pick up an Xbox Series S or X, that's available there as well now. So yeah, there are options to access the games at least, or the past games.
I know people in the chat thinks I'm gonna harp on Kingdom Hearts series. Here's the thing: I love the Kingdom Hearts series. I really love it. I really do. I really want to play all the way through this. I'm just like laughing at the Square Enix nonsense that's been going on. It's like they're becoming the next Konami.
I just think after 20 years, you got to like wrap up that plot, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I'm never going to understand the idea of a franchise where it's like, hey, you might die without ever getting to see the end of this thing. Isn't that thrilling? And you're like, no, I want to know. It's like, you got to end the story at some point. You know, you can keep making Kingdom Hearts games with a different character and a new plot line,
Hey,
but
Vito,
at this point, I want to know like the wrap up of Sora's story.
Vito, look at Dragon Ball right now. Look at Dragon Ball.
Look at One Piece. Well, One Piece story hasn't ended yet, so.
I guess, but like it feels like there hasn't even been an end to like any arc whatsoever. Isn't he still chasing after his stupid friend? And isn't King Mickey still running around? I don't even know what's going on in Kingdom Hearts. I like completely tuned out of that series.
Really quick, I wanted to jump to some comments. Everyone's going off in the chat. Perp Minded says, I'm really shocked on how quick they announced this game. I've already have gameplay ready to go, so they must be pretty far ahead as far as the planning stages go. Simon Stevens says, I don't like the look of Kingdom Hearts 4, but it probably only looks that way because it's set in the real world in the trailer. It probably looked different when you go to the Disney worlds. That's a good point. And Purpose saying, I see the game coming out in like 2025, which makes sense. And then to Super Ace Gamer's point, probably getting like a 3.2 or something in between as like a little like side story to like get us like ramped up for when it finally comes out whenever. And Sean is saying, I'm a fan of Kingdom Hearts. My favorite character is Sora. I love the games. The only thing that disappointed me about Kingdom Hearts 3, it didn't have a lot of Disney worlds, but overall it's a great game. It's a good game.
Yeah.
You know, I could see Square Enix making like a like Mike was talking about earlier with like a Kingdom Hearts 3.2 or whatever. I can imagine it being like, you know, Kingdom Hearts 3.2 Gateway, and it's like for the PS4, but it's compatible with the PS5, and that's, you know, the backwards capability, and the next one's going to be a PS5 exclusive at that point.
Hey, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Like that.
Hey, Kingdom Hearts 3.3, Enter the Matrix.
Exactly. Closing off on this topic, when we go into the rest of the Square Enix announcements and the GeForce leaks as well, Sean is saying, I'm so excited about Kingdom Hearts 4. I think it's worth the wait. It looks amazing in my honest opinion. I knew Square Enix was going to use Unreal Engine 5 next-gen graphics. Persona 6, indeed. They need to do that as well as port the rest of the games onto next-gen as well, but hopefully they don't screw it up, but they probably will.
Now, for Persona 6, I mean, we have like I know they have some themes here. Even Persona 3, you have a bunch of school kids fighting shadows. Persona 4, a murder case. Persona 5, a bunch of thieves. What's Persona 6 going to be? Ninjas, pirates?
Those would be cool.
Something like that.
Isn't it always high schoolers and demons though, and everyone?
True. That's true. Yeah,
it's going to be high school kids meet demons.
Yeah, high school kids, demons, probably in ninja uniforms and pirate uniforms. I don't know.
Yeah. This is actually one of my personal, favorite announcements this week. Actually today, Final Fantasy IX Remake looks more likely following Kingdom Hearts 4 announcement. So first part of the GeForce leak. Xander, thank you so much for sharing this article with me, but I did want to kind of get everyone's take on Final Fantasy IX. It's personally one of my favorite of the series. I love 10, 6, 9. Those are the ones that kind of like harken back to the classic gameplay for me personally. And and obviously Tactics, which I hope we see some sort of like port or continuing of that series as well. Marceau, are you a fan of Final Fantasy IX?
I liked it. It's one of the best, you're right. Along with 10, I would say, and 7 for me. 7, of course, is the classic. And 10 with its the religion aspect in it. It has a deep message, I think. And I would put 9 as in third place. So really excited for that.
Now, I picked that game up earlier, and I was like, okay, I want to play through Final Fantasy 9. Yeah, a little scruffled a bit, but I'm thinking about playing it on the PC. But I'm going to say this right now. I will love to play Final Fantasy 9 before the remake comes out and see the difference in the gameplay and the game style of it. Because I heard Final Fantasy 9 after the Final Fantasy game after 6. This one is going back to the basics. I would love to see that.
Definitely. How about you, Vito?
So they're going to completely remake it?
According to this article, it looks like it's going to be a remake. Xander, I don't know if you gleaned more information from other sources, but again, this is a leak, so grain of salt, but so far, a lot of the predictions from the leak, or at least the announcements that were pulled from that GeForce leak, have come to fruition. So yeah, do you put a whole lot of weight on this coming true, Xander?
I mean, I think it's inevitable, and because I always felt like Final Fantasy IX, a lot of people like Final Fantasy IX, but it was so overshadowed with the Final Fantasy 7 and 8 when it comes to the PlayStation 1, Final Fantasy family or whatever. But as time progresses and becomes more nostalgic, a lot more people are coming up front being like, Final Fantasy IX was pretty dope. It'd be nice to have a little bit more on that. And now Square Enix is like, oh, okay, this might be cool, because there is a lot of fan mods for Final Fantasy IX that look amazing that people have been putting out. So I think Square Enix is starting to see this, starting to kind of put it out. I'm looking forward to it. And I don't know if you guys remember, but there was supposed to be a Final Fantasy IX television show, like a kid sort of show that was supposed to be coming out. They kind of went radio silent on that. So I don't know if it's still coming, but that's also could be related to this remaster as well.
One thing I am a little worried on is I personally was skeptical on the way that they remastered or remade Final Fantasy VII and made it into different chapters being released over time or over years.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to play Final Fantasy VII Remake, and what were your thoughts on it?
Did I get to play it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It's very solid. It's a little limited. It's a little small feeling. But ultimately, yeah, it gets the job done. It's like a solid 8 out of 10. I don't like the story changes. I think they're going to end up being really stupid, and they're already kind of being a little bit stupid, but we'll see if they manage to do something with it. Yeah, there's this very weird trend of going back to stories where characters, I mean, minor spoilers, let's be clear, people died in Final Fantasy VII, and things happen. And then they do these remakes where they're like, but what if they didn't die? And I'm like, well, then the story would have less emotional weight. So why you have to kill some people? What are you doing? So we're gonna see what happens there. That kind of thing happened to Evangelion, which is a show I used to love, but then I think the remakes, I don't know, everything's getting way too friendly and nobody can die anymore. It's kind of spoiling some of these plots. We'll see if Final Fantasy VII finds its balls and kills some people in the part 2.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII, the original was the perfect RPG when I was that age when it came out. The remake is the perfect RPG for the age that I am now, if that makes any sense. I couldn't imagine myself now playing a game like Final Fantasy VII. I don't have a whole lot of time. Or the Final Fantasy VII remake, is in chapters, and I beat that in about 35 hours. It's not a long game compared to the first Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I guess
have to play Stranger of Paradise or whatever.
I want to play that. I really want to play that.
Is that part of the Final Fantasy series? I've never heard of it.
It's the one that didn't it just come out where it's like Final Fantasy 1 but starring a weirdo.
Yeah, it's like a what if Final Fantasy of the
what if
first.
A total Jim dude bro got dropped into the Final Fantasy world and he's like, oh man, there's monsters and shit. I'm gonna punch him.
It is so
it's awesome.
Weird. It is...
hey, Vito, we already got that. It's called Cautious Hero.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's an entire it's a whole genre in Japan now. They're always making these things, but now there's a Final Fantasy one.
Oh, and I'm going to jump to some of the comments. Let's see. Wallace says, I'm worried about the GTA, about what GTA 6 will become. The originators are out, and the cash cow of GTA Online has become a core focus. It doesn't bode well. Yeah, that's kind of my lingering speculation as well, with a lot of these remasters of classic games that I get excited about, and I go on my show and talk about them and hype them up. And then when they come out, they're broken, they're upscaled, look trash. on next gen hardware, or they're just, you know, like Chocobo Racing, for example. Everything is behind a paywall, and that was one game I was so excited to play. I played that on stream, and like literally everything I clicked, I'm like, oh, gotta pay for that, gotta pay for the full version for that, and then once I pay for the full version, I gotta pay for it again, like for this like character or this cart accessory or upgrade or anything like that. It was ridiculous. So yeah, like that's a lingering fear for sure.
It'd be like, hey, I want to play Chocobo Racing. Hey, it's free. All right, I would love to play it.
Yes, that was me.
I'll be like, got your money. Pay it now.
Yeah, definitely a gotcha moment for sure.
Yeah.
Simon Stevens says, agreed, Vito. I actually didn't like Final Fantasy VII, but I was pissed when Flower Girl died, and it just became a quest for revenge for me after that. Take that away now, and I'd never play it past that point. Yeah, like the lack of stakes in like modern games, like it's definitely taking out like their emotional impact. That is the whole reason why they resonated with me in the first place. So it's not even really a remaster. It's
here's my theory on why these things happen is that a lot of the times the guys who write these storylines are young and hungry, and they aren't in a position of success, you know, right away. So I forget who wrote Final Fantasy VII. What's his name? Uematsu. But he was, you know, a young, hungry writer, eager to prove himself. You know, probably full of self-doubts and worries and depression, and that manifests in your writing. And you end up, and now you're, you know, a legendary game writer, renowned as one of the great artists of all time. And you go, oh, the world's great, rainbows and sunshine. Why did I kill all these people? It should reflect my life as a rich, successful game developer. And you go, no, the whole reason it worked is because at the time you wrote it, it's the same for the show Evangelion that I like. At the time you wrote it, you were a depressed sack of crap, and you wrote like this very deep, introspective, emotional narrative. And now that it happened with The Matrix 4, again, the Wachowskis, they were eager, hungrier to prove themselves, dark, weird drama. Now in the new one, it's all about flying around with your girlfriend in heaven. I'm like, this sucks. Like, keep it dark and weird. Stop going back to these old franchises and trying to lighten them up. I thought it was crazy that they brought Neo back to life for the Matrix. I'm like, the whole point of it was the heroes. He was Jesus. Like Jesus, he died twice and came back to life. Now he's back again. Come on.
Like for example, if you watch, if you remember some of this stuff, Vito, you remember this some of the what's called the Super Sentai series called O Ranger.
Yeah,
O Ranger is supposed to be like the counterpart of Power Ranger Zero. But and then when they try to make it dark, but after that terrorist attack that happened, they're trying to lighten it up a bit and everything. But when Car Ranger happened, they're trying to light everything up as well and still make it dark.
Sometimes you just gotta leave, even if a character's super popular. It's like, just leave him dead. You know, my God, you can't. Because Final Fantasy VII brings at least 2 characters back to life, one of which is like pretty major.
Hey,
and
here's the thing.
It's bizarre.
Here's the thing. The Black Condor from Jetman, he's popular, and at the end, he died.
Yeah.
Really quick, I want to get back to our last topic. This has been a great conversation. Thank you, everyone, for participating and giving your takes on all of our topics. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. It's going to be the rest of the GeForce leaks. And luckily, someone condensed it down into a really awesome, handy-dandy tweet. For example, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2, Forspoken, Live Alive, which I'm personally really excited for, as well as a lot of the Dragon Quest remakes and Dragon Quest 12, Dragon Quest Treasures, Kingdom Hearts 4, obviously, Front Mission 1 and 2 remakes. I'm not familiar with that series, nor Diofield Chronicle. Familiar with Star Ocean for sure. And Valkyrie Elysium, which I'm personally very, very excited for. I'm a big fan of the Valkyrie Profile series. So yeah, that's kind of a lot of like the main ones in a nutshell as far as like Square Enix. And of course, there was also God of War that was announced for Steam as well. So potentially getting more Sony titles on Steam and for PC access too. That was announced. I'm going to go ahead and share the tab really quick. Halo 5 for PC, BioShock Remaster, Final Fantasy 9 Remake, which you just covered, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and the Grand Theft Auto trilogy remasters too. Those were all pretty much gleaned from previous GeForce leaks or Nvidia data mines as well. So that's kind of also lending credence to the Half-Life 2 remaster and Injustice 3 and more other games that have not yet come out, potentially being something to look forward to. So on top of Final Fantasy IX being speculated based off of the leak, we're also potentially going to expect these games as well to come out. Are there any like key callouts for you, Marceau, that you're looking forward to from this list?
Yeah, Halo 5 PC. For me, it's the last good Halo game. So I know a lot of people don't like it, but I really enjoyed it. And there's the PvE mode, so called Firefight in there. So because Infinite, it's not my thing, and I don't understand why Halo 5 never came to PC. So I'm really glad that it's finally coming.
Star Ocean. You know what? I'm definitely thinking about marathoning Star Ocean.
Definitely. Oh, and Ken is saying Resident Evil 4. Can't wait for my favorite one. Like as much as I've been criticizing remakes, there's still something to look forward to, still something fun to talk about, and it does bring up good memories of my experiences with those games in the past. Vito, are there any of these speculated remasters or remakes that you're personally looking forward to?
Nothing in particular that I see. Not really.
Well, I'm looking forward to play Live Alive for the first time since.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like the only one because we never got it.
Exactly.
So, that one's interesting for sure.
How about you, Xander?
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the Resident Evil 4 remake because I think they've done a pretty good job with these Resident Evil remakes. So I'm looking forward to that because Resident Evil 4 is classic. It's so good. So looking forward to that. And I'm glad that there's more coming out for PC as well. That's pretty promising. Pretty cool.
Rhea, can you show me the list again?
Oh, sure. I will do that. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm gonna see if
give me 1 second. Sorry. I was sharing it, but then I wasn't. There you go.
All right, I'm gonna take a look at the list here. I'll talk about the list that's Stealth made.
Oh, sure. Let me go ahead and share this instead. The Square Enix.
Okay. One. Let's see. Kingdom Hearts 4 front mission. Okay. Dragon Quest 3 HD2. Dragon Quest 12. Okay. I'm looking forward for the Dragon Quest games. Now, hopefully, we could get Dragon Quest 8 remastered. Hopefully, we need it. So please, Square Enix, stop with your BS and make with Dragon Quest 8 remastered.
They got the Dragon Quest 4 too. That's gonna be pretty awesome. I mean, there's definitely, and a weird thing is they're also actually reprinting Dragon Quest 7 on the 3DS. There's actually a reprint of that coming out. It's been rumored, so that's gonna be pretty interesting.
Does anyone have any, besides me anyway, does anyone else have an affinity for the Valkyrie Profile series or any fond memories of it?
I need to play it because I heard good things about this game and I want to play that game so badly.
Yeah,
I never got deep enough into it, but I always liked what I played.
Yeah, I first experienced it on the PSP and then I started to emulate it on the PS1. I love the 2D animated cutscenes on the PS1 version versus like the 3D animated ones on the PSP, which in my opinion were like pushing like PS3 or later gen PS3 like levels of rendering and graphic details and things like that. So that's another reason why I really connected with that series for the past like almost 20 years.
Now I think Stealth said even without Mana Saga announcements, even though that I think we're all cleared up. I think we're all cleaned out on the whole Mana thing until then, or hopefully we get a new Mana game or a new Saga game, or better yet, re-release Romancing Saga 1, not the PS2 version, but the SNES version.
Definitely. There's kind of like this overabundance of content as well, where like, we're getting so excited for like all these new announcements, but then I'm like looking at my backlog of like different games that I still need to play. So it's like fun to talk about, definitely for sure. But I'm just like,
this is why I just don't pay any attention. I don't pay any attention to any of these announcements because I'm like, I have too many games as it is. The thought
what are you currently playing?
I'm playing Elden Ring right now. Other than that, I actually was going to just take out my PS1 copy of Chrono Cross and just play that instead. Games just keep coming out where I'm like, there's nothing. It's like, what are you looking forward to? I'm like, Looking forward to the day that they release less video games. Because I'm gonna die before playing half of these things.
Yeah,
even a quarter of these things.
That's why I don't mind. Yeah, that's why I don't mind delays. When people are like, "Oh, it's delayed," I'm like, "Yeah."
I'll never understand that. Oh my god, you guys, we still have to wait. I'm like, oh no, that's what am I possibly gonna play? There's nothing. There's so many freaking games in the world. We
just showed like at least 20 games that I've never heard of or seen or played or touched in my entire life.
But that again goes to my point of like, this is why I can't get invested in something like Kingdom Hearts, is that I'm like, it'll never end. It's like, why? I don't want to get. I like games. You know, I kind of like standalone games where you beat it and you get the whole thing and you're not, that's what's great about Elden Ring and stuff like that, is I don't have to go, oh, I got to wait for Elden Ring 2 to find out what happens with the Magic Gold Man. It's like, no, it's a self-contained little thing, one and done. And a lot of these franchise type things, I just can't get into it because I'm like, am I going to play every single one of the games? There's no way you couldn't even play all the Kingdom Hearts games. How many people in the world have played through every one of those Kingdom Hearts games?
I feel like playing Kingdom Hearts, it's like playing something like like playing a Souls game or something, but only for kids. It's like, okay, I will just go to play through the game and then go to some epic boss battles that have like 12 or 20 life bars.
But then I gotta watch a 30-hour YouTube video to explain to me what happened in the Japanese-only cell phone game, and I'm like, I can't.
Oh my god!
Yes.
Oh my god! That's the reason why.
Saggy.
Hey, Saggy.
Good to see you.
Saggy. Yo.
Saggy. We are. I think that covers all of our topics. We were a little bit over time, but I'm so glad, Vito, you were able to join us this week, and thank you to Mike as well, and Xander and Marceau for taking time to chat with me this week. I'm going to go around and everyone can share their channels and where we can find you at and what you're working on. Marceau, you can go first.
Master System Marceau on YouTube. I'm also on Twitch, but I don't stream that much there. I'm on Twitter at SMS8_8bit. If you like retro gaming, old school games, gaming news, and Amico news, I've done quite a bit as well. You can join me there.
Awesome. And we've got everyone's links in the description as well. Xander, where can we find you at, and what are you going to be gracing our news feeds with this week as far as content?
You can find me on youtube.com/Xander Skullion. And pretty much this week, I'm going to be working on my new podcast, The Xander Zone. And I'm going to be covering, episode 3, Moon Knight, Sonic 2 review, and also talk a little bit about IGN and, the freelance job offering with that. I'm going to be talking about that as well. But
that's a spicy one. Yeah,
it's going to be a spicy one. But that's about it. I mean, I got a review I got to work on for Z-Warp, which is a shmup from East Asia Soft. Really, really cool. Very trippy. That's pretty much it.
Alrighty, and Mike, let's hear where we can find you at and what you're currently working on.
Okay, I'm currently working on the Berserk Boy video, and hopefully if I get that out of the way, I will get back into the Metroid 2 review that I've been holding off forever. So take a look, check out my channel known as Super Ace Gamer, Mike Maverick SAG brand. That's the name on my tag here. And also I got a new Twitter, by the way. You can follow me on my new Twitter because I want to filter out anything I have on my old Twitter because with Super Ace Gamer TV.
Nice. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure I did link your quote unquote business Twitter. I think that's what we want to call it.
I'll just call it my filter Twitter so I won't talk about too much, just like on my old Twitter. And people on my old Twitter, I just want to apologize for all that crap.
No worries. I think I got your branded Twitter linked in the description. And last but not least, thank you so much, Vito, for joining us. What are you going to be currently working on, and where can we find you at?
I'm writing a very late review of that Boba Fett TV show. I've just been so tired, but I'm going to get it done. But you can find news coverage I've been doing at my second channel, youtube.com/Vito2. That's Vito, VITO, I might be talking about the Amico, some other stuff, whatever comes up this week. I'm doing some news coverage. Check it out.
Nice. I linked your your first channel as well as your second one, which I'm seeing all the new content on that you just referenced, as well as your Twitter. So
Yes,
please,
I got all sorts of stuff going on. I'm a busy boy.
You got your comic book, you got your podcast.
I also have my comic book. I'm excited.
Yes.
Woo.
Nice. I can't wait to see more of that. Been following some of the developments there. And again, thank you to my wonderful panel for talking video game news with me again. I'm going to go ahead and play the outro. Feel free to exit out of the StreamYard at your leisure, and I'll catch everyone next time. Thank you to my lovely audience for keeping it lively as well. And I'll catch y'all later. Bye.
Later.
Hey guys.
Woo.